relationships, from friendships and work connections to family and romantic partnerships, can have a big impact on our emotional, mental, and physical health. And because of that, it's important to invest time into creating healthy relationships. And joining me now to talk about how to do that is family medicine physician at Kaiser Permanente Northgate Medical Center, Scotty Tano. Welcome back, friend.
It's good to be back.
Yes. So let's get into the why, because everybody, of course, wants to have healthy relationships, but why is it so important to have healthy relationships?
Healthy relationships are critical because they actively combat loneliness. And in 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness an epidemic. About half of Americans suffer from loneliness symptoms, and it's really bad for your health. We know that loneliness increases your risk for chronic conditions like diabetes, stroke, heart attacks, dementia, anxiety, and even premature death. Loneliness is worse for you than smoking 15 cigarettes a day, not exercising, being obese. So it's a big problem for your health. And there's actual science behind it. So when you're lonely, it raises your body's stress hormones and increases inflammation. And that's what causes it. We know that when you have chronic inflammation and stress hormones, that increases your risk for those diseases. So loneliness is really something that's a silent killer, and we should be combating.
Oh my gosh, definitely. It's enjoyable to hang out and have good relationships with the people around you, but you don't necessarily always think of it as a health, critical to your health, but clearly it's very important to your health.
It's a natural antidepressant.
So if you're looking for, a good, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, sometimes people talk about green flags. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but talk about the top relationship green flags.
I love talking about healthy green flags that you should be looking for. And there's 4 of them that I really want to highlight today. So first off, respect. You guys both respect one another's values, beliefs, boundaries. Secondly, safety. You just feel safe and comfortable when you're with that person and in that relationship. Third, good communication. You can share your thoughts and feelings without hesitation or reservation. And then lastly, independence. That person knows that you have a life outside of them, and they want to foster that sense of independence and being healthy.
Yeah, those are all good things to think about. What advice do you have people who might meet other people online? I feel like being on the internet is such a big part of our life these days. So whether it's finding a community that you're going to meet up with or even dating online, do you have any tips?
Absolutely. This is so common, whether you're meeting new friends or romantic interests. And I say, don't let your standards slip. Remember those green flags I talked about. You're still going to want to look out for, is there mutual respect? Do I feel safe? Can I communicate? And do they help foster that sense of independence? So you really just want to stick to your trusted values when looking for those online relationships.
I know, people, if you're feeling lonely, I think it's natural to think, is there something wrong with me here? What do you have to say to that?
I want to normalize loneliness. So everyone feels lonely, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just like how some days we feel tired, and no one would judge you for feeling tired. It's just part of the human experience. And what I want people to take away is that when you feel lonely, think of it as when you're thirsty. You take a sip of water, you quench that thirst. When you're feeling lonely, it's your body's feedback that you need social connection. So just reach out and, try to get in touch with someone you really enjoy hanging out with.
Yeah, and I think we get so caught up in how we feel that we don't think other people are lonely too, and maybe they might be delighted to be invited to do something, right?
We can both help one another.
Okay, so we talked about what we're looking for in other people, those green flags, but what can we do ourselves to be a good partner, a good friend, a good loved one to the people in our life?
Relationships are two-way streets. So I think that's the most important thing, is to remember that sometimes you need support, other times, your friend or partner needs support. And so it's really having that perspective. And then having a foundation of strong communication. So really being able to share what you want and what your needs are, and vice versa. Just hearing your partner or friend and being curious and validating them. And then lastly, expectations. No one person can meet 100% of the needs of another person. And so just understanding that, and really understanding that any person is part of a network and part of your social system.
So true. Yeah, it's difficult to put all that on one person. So develop those healthy relationships. Scott, thank you so much for all the great insight today.
Sure. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.